Is NIO proving wrong the critics that have been saying that battery swapping is a failed idea and cannot actually scale? Well, we have actually some indicators pointing towards this direction, because if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I made a video that battery swapping is currently scaling at roughly 1 swap station built per day. But just recently we have some news that NIO is stepping up the game, and just recently over the weekend they built like 5 battery swap stations, and that doesn't stop them from recently building up to 27 stations in just one day. And so it seems like this overall goal of 500 swap stations by the end of this year will be most likely be achieved, but could rather be even higher and north of that if they continue to grow like this. So just on a question whether or not many stations can be built in a short amount of time, I would say this proves the critics wrong in terms of yes, it is feasible just on a built out infrastructure side. And just as a reminder, just one of these stations can handle as many cars per day as roughly 9 superchargers, for instance, by Tesla. And it uses less space as the superchargers, and at the same time it seems to be building quite well and quickly, maybe even quicker than building the same amount of superchargers at the same time. And currently NIO is really prioritizing such kind of an infrastructure rollout, which if you think about it, it also makes a lot of sense currently in the situation that, well, the deliveries have taken a hit due to supply constraint, chip shortage and stuff like that. So what do you do if you still get, for instance, the batteries by CATL delivered, but you cannot finalize the car because there's a tiny chip missing? Well, what you could do is you prioritize the infrastructure rollout, and you can use those batteries also in the swap stations in the meantime until you can finalize building the car and deliver it to consumers. And that way NIO has reported some impressive stats here that they have improved from January this year till August this year, from the exposure of NIO customers that have a battery swap station in the range of 3 kilometers, from 20% to 34%. And this, of course, is for what is really important about NIO, the service level and the convenience. Many EV buyers still have range anxiety or want the convenience of just quickly swapping a battery instead of supercharging for a long time. And so this is really paying into this promise, and it also kind of eases the pressure a little bit once more cars are getting delivered to customers again, so that there won't be really a bottleneck. And this also reflects in the fact that just by the beginning of this year, 584 cars were sharing 1 swap station on average, and this number has come down to 354. So in the future, if the delivery of cars is scaling up again, it can be convenient to kind of average to this 500 cars per station level again, and in the meantime users enjoy less crowded stations. So the last argument against swapping here is then obviously what will this cost, and I guess we find out more about this in the Q3 numbers. They might be really bad because they're spending a lot now on this infrastructure build out. We'll see. I'll give you my detailed views on that, but generally I made already a video about that in relation to the entire fleet and the build out and the cash position by NIO. I think it will be worth investing in this kind of infrastructure because this is just so important to EV buyers, and also it's just taken a small amount that can be kind of paid through the cash flow of NIO over time that is necessary in order to build swapping stations instead of only building superchargers. Now there is something more exciting that I want to talk about regarding battery swapping, because there is obviously always development on the battery front, and I found this article by Bloomberg NEF that I've posted in the Dongxi Patreon community. And by the way, if you want to join this community, check out our Patreon. I just made a deep dive into Xunlei, so XNET ticker symbol, the business case and my personal price target. Tomorrow I will have another session on SAP Health, going deeper into the Q2 numbers as well as my outlook on the price targets and such. And then by the end of the week I will also go through my personal portfolio and tell you more about what has changed in terms of which stocks I'm buying. But anyways, the article that I posted here is talking about Tesla's adoption of LFP batteries, because as you can see here, basically there are some different attributes to batteries, like the manufacturing cost, the cobalt content, the raw material cost and so on, and the thermal runaway. So basically the performance, the cost, as well as the durability and stuff like that depends on what kind of materials the battery are made of. And LFP is now one of the latest stuff that many manufacturers along with Tesla are using, because it's so low in cost and at the same time it delivers enough of range. But what I found exciting in regards to battery swapping here is that, of course, you have these different kind of technologies, right? For instance, LFP, if you want a low-cost model that can, have a nice range, but still there are better batteries that perform better in terms of durability and range, but may be more expensive. And this will always be like this. We will have new technologies such as here natrium-ion batteries developed by CATL, as well as the hybrid solid-state batteries that are expected by NIO in the future. And the great thing for NIO with the battery swapping here is that they're kind of agnostic of which type of technology is going to win the future, because basically they can offer all of those different technologies to their user. And also, if you take the analogy of winter tires as well as summer tires, there might be the use cases, for instance now with NIO doing the northern rollout and going even also to the Himalayas and so on, where batteries perform better in a winter environment with a certain chemistry or technology. And so NIO could offer such kind of batteries locally, geographically located where it makes sense, or could even swap between winter battery and summer battery according to the changes in the weather. So that would be still open to the users. If they want to have a greater range during winter times, they might be able to just swap in one of those natrium-ion batteries in the future. And so there would be even a way of exchanging always to the latest or most preferential technologies if possible. And this advantage to the battery type for which kind of circumstances may even apply also to the charging speed, because it's interesting that GIC has just unveiled 480 kilowatt fast charging, which basically means you could fast charge 30 to 80% in just 4 minutes 50, and that is actually quite close to how fast a swap can be performed. But at the same time, and that was interesting to see over the weekend, GAC is rumored to actually adopt batteries, NIO-like battery swap across all of the new models. So you can see that even those who are developing such new fast charging capabilities are kind of looking to the prospects of battery swapping for certain use cases, maybe not for every mass-produced vehicle, but in a premium or for the robo-taxis or the ride-hailing fleets, those use cases would make sense, where you can adopt this battery swapping model, and also on a business model, this battery as a service business model. So in total, interesting and promising development regarding battery swap stations. There might be some setbacks in the future, maybe on the cost side, let's see, but so far it seems to be scaling well, and it is of course the USP of NIO. And with now also those other manufacturers looking to adopt it, NIO will not only benefit for their own fleets, but also for the royalty fees and the patents and all of those know-how that NIO has integrated in not only national standard, but possibly in the future also international standards on battery swapping. So according to my NIO business case, that may bring actually billions of revenues for NIO in the future. So that's why I'm always following closely the development in this area. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please smash a like and then let me know in the comments what you think about it, and see you in the next one.